I try to thank him in advance. Say, I know you're gonna do something about it, and I thank you in advance for what you're gonna do. And again, the anxiety disappears because you're confident that he's gonna work.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Rest Up Podcast. This is going to be episode 27. Thank you guys for being here week after week for the continuous support on the road to 300 subscribers. If you guys are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share, follow. You guys know what to do. And today I have a very special guest, Steve. Welcome back to the Rest Up Podcast. You know, it's been, 4 or 5 months since we had you on last?
Was at the very beginning.
Very beginning, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm pretty... Dude, and hey, the setup looks a little different this time, huh? But yeah, no, just... we're going to be just talking about where he's been, how, he's had trials, just stuff like that. Just diving into, an updated version of Steve, if you would. We're just going to bounce back and forth and just kind of, just converse, catch up, so to speak, even though we work together every day. We'll see where it goes. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for growing and being a part of the community, the Rest Up community. And editor, you know what to do. Roll that intro, baby.
Well, yeah, like you said, a lot of things happens. I've had an interesting year, I would say, because we had some trials. We've been through some difficult moments. We've been through questioning myself, of why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did we go through all this? And I was at one point I was a little mad at God for not having all the answers. But you know how God works, right? It's all in His time, right? And I had like a wake up call. It's been a little more than a year now, where I kind of dropped it. I kind of lost it for a little bit. And I felt like this is when God decided to show me what was going to happen. And from that day, I would say everything has changed. And funnily enough, it started Walking Wisely last year. So that was a year after. And since that day, a lot of things have fallen into place. I found my place as a youth leader. I found my place in a way better situation, at work, in the business. I found a great friend in my employee, Mr. John.
Hey, that's me. Shout out the GOAT. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, just the fact that we hold, each other accountable helped me a lot. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you, Steve. I mean, no matter any age, when you walk with the Lord, you have to surround yourself with, I'm not going to say like-minded people, Lord-minded people that put the Lord first in their life instead of themselves when it comes to a lot of things, because if you don't, people will put it on you instead of God. And when you do that, it's all on you. It's all on your hands. Everything that has to get done is on you. And that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
And, as human, we like to take the credit. I think.
Yeah, we do. I agree.
We have good things happening.
So, yes.
Successes, it's like, it feels good, to take some credit. But the truth is, it's never us. And I've learned that, in the past year. I've learned that, it's not me. It's all.
Would you say your life is happier with that decision?
Definitely. 100%.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Steve, as you getting back on track and getting, back into the system, not routine, but like back into implementing, God more frequently and just having a a Jesus minded life, spectrum. That's like where your focus is, how can I glorify Jesus? How do you conquer how do you deal with grace and forgiveness to others that have done you wrong?
I mean, I don't think of any example of people that have done me wrong in the past few years, I would say. Well, what I do see is that, just putting God first in everything that we do, try to leave a life that honors God, as you wake up in the morning throughout your day, um, brings you a peace, in your heart. I feel like this peace is living in me more and more, so meaning I will not get angry easy, and I don't recall being mad at anyone, for the past few months, because that's the truth. I feel like God has been working through us, and in my heart and in my life where, yeah, I feel peaceful, I feel good. Like I don't think that I've experienced, anything, like needed to forgive somebody or anything like that. I don't recall, but yeah, that's how I feel.
Well, that's good. That I mean, that's good. I mean, that's good that you haven't had anything like that. Now, without saying situations, all right, you know some things about me. What kind of advice would you want to give me for, basically like forgiving and moving on? Like with the things that should I just let it go? Or sometimes I get a sense of peace and I need to let those things go. But then also at the same time, like in my heart, like I want to fix it. But also at the same time, I'm like, no, because if I try to fix it, the problem's just gonna reoccur. And like, what would you say would be wise if, situations aren't going your way and you really feel on your heart to let go and you feel like scripturally you've been like for me scripturally there are certain scriptures that keep coming up to say that I need to let go, separate myself kind of thing, but at the same time I want to and then I do and then I feel bad in myself for like I feel like I'm giving up.
Well, I think you answered your question. You said let go. I love this song, "Let Go, Let God."
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. All right.
Uh, more most of the time we try to fix things ourselves, and the truth is we don't have the power. We don't. We try. We think we know the answer, but the truth is we don't know. And I feel like let go, let God.
Okay.
Put it
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
put it down at His feet, and you'll see some great things happen.
I mean, it has lately. Life's been good for us, Steve. Life has been good. I mean, just blessings after blessings. I mean, honestly, um, I don't know. Anytime we have an up, like either you or I are the first person to be like, "Thank you, Jesus."
We have a lot of praise. Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple weeks has been great. He's just been there. I feel like, and it's just it.
It feels,
Yes,
doesn't it?
and you know what honestly makes me so upset at us because it really shows how selfish human nature is when we're on the highs. Of course, every time we'll give glory to God, give glory to Jesus. And then on the times it's low, instead of, oh, this is the enemy distracting me. No, it's my fault. It's this, that, and the other. Like, we just
We need to blame somebody.
yeah, of course. And like, how is there any roots, like anything that you do now that anytime something like that goes, that you like process it better or rationalize better or just, mature on it better than I do?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, my way of doing things have changed a little bit, and that's something that I shared at Walking Wisely. And it's funny because one of my boys told me about it not too long ago. It was like, I really used that in my life, and it changed my perspective of seeing things, right? Um, what I've been trying to do more and more is thank God for what He was going to do. Instead of saying, "Hey God, can you help me with this?" I try to thank Him in advance and say, "I know you're going to do something about it, and I thank you in advance for what you're going to do." And again, the anxiety disappears because you're confident that He's going to work. He's going to do something, and again, it feels good. You don't feel this anxiety. You're not like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? You're like, let go,
Well, I just found the title for this episode, Let Go and Let God.
go.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What is there any plans this year? This like that's coming, in the winter, the summer that you got planned church related that you're excited for that you wanna talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting ready for the student camp. So that's gonna be in June 6th through the 11th, I think. So I'm super, super excited about it. Last year we had 18 boys, and this year, uh, they added 50 more people. For the camp. We had 250 last year. We have three. We're bringing 300 kids. Yeah, and they sold out in 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
They opened up the camp, and like 15 minutes later, I was sold out. So that's a praise. And we were thankfully, we were able to get 30 of our boys, at camp. So that's a praise. I'm super, super excited about it. We have a new leader in our team too. So now we have 5 leaders, youth leaders. So our new leader, Rob, will be joining us this year. So yeah, it's super exciting. Um, and other than that, our group has grown like big time this year. We started doing Bible study every week. So we opened up our house for the boys, and we had such a great experience. The number kept growing.
Oh, I've seen how crazy it can get, Steve.
So that's really cool. We started, I kid you not, like the first Bible study that we had, I think it was at Ron's house. There was more leaders than boys, and
Oh,
now we have
like 5 to 1.
you know now we
Hey, yeah, there's good food too.
yeah, you have to feed them. If you don't feed them, they won't show up. That's the truth though. But no,
Hey, you hearing that, pastor leaders? All right, you feed them, they show up.
they do. But no, and they've grown like really really good this year, and we have like great conversations, and yeah, like I said, now we average 15 to 20 boys every week.
That's
There was
crazy.
a guy showing up, who is not on the list, but everybody's always welcome. Always happy to see new faces, and it's great. It's awesome.
What what have you guys been talking about a lot lately? Like, what is one subject or topic that you guys are really trying to I don't know, have them, the younger boys like really grasp that's something that's really insightful that you as adult leaders wish you guys understood at their age.
Well, we covered a lot of things. So what we try to do is go over the Bible. So it's always Bible related. So we studied James lately. We did a little bit of John. We did the Romans. So every time we take a chapter, we read through the chapter, we dive in, and we try to get their input on different subjects. Um, but yeah, the I think the main subject that comes back is really how do you live your life, as a believer, so how do you make a difference at school in your daily life? We have a lot of athletes, so in your sport, how do you make a difference? How do people see that you're a Christian? So we try to, emphasis on that, and we felt like, we have few really good leaders in the team, and we've seen that they've grown like really, really big time, with the Lord, uh, in the way they act and the way they talk about their faith openly, and they brought a lot of new kids to the group. So yeah, it's just great. It's very encouraging, I would say. And I can see, at first when we first started the Bible study, it felt like it was like a classroom, and and they were kind of as a bar, taking notes. But when we say, "Hey, anybody has a question?" Everybody like, No." Now it's an open conversation, and it's so good that sometimes we don't even talk, So we let them do the talk. Sometimes we have to cut them off to say, "Hey, you talk too much now. Let's move on."
No, that's awesome.
Another thing that we've been doing, we used to pray, to open in prayer, close in prayer. Now we always ask them to do that, to be responsible for praying for the group, and they same thing, they do it like naturally, we don't have to push them.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is there anyone, you don't have to say names, but like someone that you could think of that has had the biggest transformation and that you've seen, and um you know just, I don't know, talk good and like just hype that person up. You don't have to say their name or anything, but is there someone in mind that you think of?
There's many, yeah, many in life. One of them, offered to lead like a few weeks ago, and that was just great because we didn't ask him to do it. He just, spontaneously, offered to lead. He was like, "Hey, I want to lead next time. I want to talk about Peter because there's a chapter that I really like, and I want to share it with you guys. We share it with the boys." And he did a great job. He did some his homework. He had a whole bunch of notes about it, the highlights. It was very open. He had all the questions prepared, and everybody. I felt like even the boys, they felt even more, involved in, because we're just opening it up. And not only that, but we have a lot of boys that are, becoming leaders uh, in the group, and that was not the case. She had a few months ago, a year and a half ago.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's awesome. Glory to God, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is Okay, I was kind of asking that question because is there someone that you could, once again, you don't have to say the names, but one person that started coming that you're like, no way, this guy's not gonna get it at all, and then one day it just clicked and you were able to see the transformation like firsthand.
Yes.
Can you explain like what that was like for you?
Well, it's really about w- the big change is that we can see that they're here because they want to be. It's not their parents bringing them. They drive now for the most part, so they all drive. So they drive themselves here. Like I said, a lot of them were very quiet at first. I had one of my boy was telling me, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with talking," and I told him, No pressure, man. Just everybody's pace. There's no. It's not a competition. It's not about who's going to talk more. It's really about uh, being open to what God wants you to understand, and when your time comes, it will come. And he felt a little, behind, I will say, at one point. And I've seen him changing, like, really, really, like, big time. Not he's praying. He's asking good questions. He's giving us his input. So, no, it's really good.
Well, shout out to the boys, man. Shout out to the boys. Yeah, that's a clappable moment.
That's a praise. Yeah, yeah, that's a real praise. So, and not only that, but we have three baptism coming up this week.
Wow,
So,
3. Oh my goodness. That's a good number.
Yep.
That's a good number. Well, praise Jesus for that. What have you felt like you've learned the most on watching the younger kids learn, the younger boys, everyone in general that's, younger than us? What have you seen that has really made your perspective with Jesus really different? Like, is there something that you could think of that you've seen that you're like, wow, that's just the proof and the icing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what I've learned is humility. Humility, because I mean, they're 15, 16 years old, and I'm learning from them. When I see how engaged, they became to the Lord, and when I see um, their life changing, and even on their posts, on social media. I'm not a big social media guy, but but see, when I see that, I'm like, wow, where was I when I was their age? I was definitely in a different,
Oh, I was too, 100%. I'll tell you right now.
I mean, yeah. When I see my son Tim, when I see these boys, I'm impressed, and I'm can't I'm just humble, because I'm like, wow, you guys are really walking with the Lord, and you're in the right path. And one of my boys was telling me that he's an athlete, so he was like,
An athlete?
yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
and he's like, yeah, I was talking to this parent after the game, and he was like, oh, you'll see, when you get, in a year or two, you'll go spring break, party, and he's like, I'm not interested in that, not 1 second. I don't want to be part of, drugs and girls, and alcohol, and I'm not into this, and I'm thinking to myself, where was I when I was 6? Oh, I was probably,
I was playing Pokemon Go.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
No, I was a hoodlum. That's the best way to describe it. Like
mm,
Waffle House 3 in the morning, like going out. Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, I mean, there's so many temptation at this age, and it's so easy to.
Oh yeah, especially because of social media, like all of the honestly, I'm gonna say it, all the positive reinforcement from the dumbest stuff because people, I mean, honestly, I feel like people look at likes, views, comments, all that stuff, and they see like a video blow up that's dumb, like, fake spray painting my car at a dealership or something. That's just like one I saw recently. And they see that and they see the positivity from it and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that video too." Or what's another one? Oh, one ad I see all the time on TikTok is sports betting, like betting, gambling, and stuff like that. And they get the people that are famous on these platforms to promote this stuff, and it's like really enticing to the younger ones. And because they see like it's just crazy how much bad online, but it has positive reinforcement, so kids want to follow that.
Right. And yeah, I mean, the social media encouraged the youngest to go that round, these rounds, which are not the right rounds, right? So it'd be super easy. I mean, I'm thinking about them, being at school, and everything, all their activities and everything. Should be super easy to fall short, right? And but they don't. And not only that, but they're good advocates of what a good Christian life should be. So super humble and super impressed by their maturity, and
Oh, I know.
so
Dude, man, I've been to them, man. It's crazy.
yeah,
Y'all have no idea. Like, I'm sitting here at 23, Steve, you're 41, right? Okay, a little older than 40 on
a little,
41, we'll go with that. And, these 15, 16-year-olds are conducting themselves in a responsible manner like a meeting.
yeah.
Like they're, right on the couch right over there. They're, communicating effectively and they're talking about how they feel when they read this certain part of scripture. And they're just being open. And like when I was in Bible studies at their age, I was just like, bro, I cannot wait to get out of here and go hang out with the boys after. Like I wasn't caring about A.
Well, it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of things that are not easy to understand. There's a lot of different, interpretations.
Yeah, like the versions can get like different. Like at one point in my life, I was going to a church and they only read the King James version, and I was like, heck no, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not doing thee art thou XYZ the whole time. So I would just get bored and just funnel it out, and then yeah, no, it's honestly crazy. It's like we're witnessing the revival of this generation. You know what I'm saying? Like we're definitely witnessing a revival, and Jesus is becoming popular again, and
I,
it's a blessing.
I think it's part of the end of times. That's what the Bible.
Well, we're not an ends of the time Revelations podcast here. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the devil wants to take us out of it, but a lot of people are turning to God and to Jesus right now because they realize that Jesus is the only way, and yeah, we're getting there, man. You can see. I mean, there's a lot of signs that shows that.
Well, we went and saw Phil Wickham this weekend for worship nights, right? That's what it was called.
Sing along.
Yeah, sing along worship nights. It was a lot of fun. Big shout out to the boys up on stage. It was great. It was fantastic. 3 hours of standing and just worshiping God. At the end of it, I was tired.
Yeah.
I was super tired. But
What did he say about that?
he was talking about all of the Bible translations. And he said we're potentially 8 years away from that.
Yeah.
So that's when I would really be getting worried because one of the prophecies is everybody will know the word.
Yeah. Everybody will have access to the word.
Access to the world.
It's coming. I mean, 8 years is nothing.
8 years away, we could have the inside. Like that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Because 2012.
Yeah. And he said 8 years, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be less than that.
Oh yeah, especially with it.
AI is going so.
Dude, that is going crazy.
I mean,
Are you worried about it?
I think I am a little bit. It's like there's the good side of it, and there's the unknown. I would say that can be scary. Because there's a lot of things that are. AI is making our lives easier in a lot of ways. But it's like what if somebody with bad intentions get access to it? I mean, they have access to it. And what will they do? That's what scares everybody, I guess. But that's that.
I don't really get
And
it. Or
because if we talk about AI like 3 years ago, it was what's AI?
yeah, what is artificial intelligence? Yeah.
And in 3 years, 2-3 years, it just took a place like it's everywhere.
It was one thing that just worked right that just started it all. Which makes me when you think about it, if the AI, the AI chatbots, whatever you want to call them, AI in general, if they truly have evil plans, you got to think about they would never tell us because they already know what they want to do and they already have it planned. Exactly. So we don't know. The people that are creating these things might never give them, in um um as of right now, as far as I'm aware, everything has to be programmed.
Yeah.
It's not like nothing is, um, unless they're not telling us, everything is still, majority of the AI stuff is still being built and coded by like people are still coding what they want to look for.
Is how to code.
Yeah, that's where it's
Better than the coder.
Yes, exactly. So it can be a slippery slope.
We were watching movies about that not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
Fictions.
No, oh yeah, like the robots taking over. That's what, hey, honestly, y'all, that's why I always say please and thank you to the AIs, bro. I want them to know that I'm appreciative and they're not, a slave like they that they have in the movies.
It's everywhere. They listen to us. You know, they. I watched a podcast not too long about Google. Google is taking, well, the smartphones are taking 30,000 pictures a day of your expression, your, on your face and stuff like that.
Oh my.
And they try to read you as you're using your phone, as you're scrolling on social medias. That's why I try to get away from, you know, I deleted my social media on my phone because I felt I spent too much time, but I got caught watching them on my computer or on the business phone. But
Hey,
it made me think.
hey, all these people watching are gonna hold you accountable now.
Oh, I know. But yeah, it made me think a little bit. I'm like, do I really want um AI to just analyze every movements that I do? Can you think about it? You should think about it.
Well, it's just like my parents, for example, were like super anti social media from the beginning. Um, Growing up, social media was not a thing in my house, like at all. Like my mom despises it.
Well, some people
And
do too. I mean,
yeah,
your generation more than ours.
yeah. But like none of us ever had it growing up, none of that stuff. And like the more that I've thought about it and everything in general, it if we were off the grid, so to speak, we would have had to start like at the beginning of the boom, so to speak, like the dot-com era, the early 2000s, like we would have had to start wiping our information at that time. Like now,
Too late.
respectfully, yes, that's what I personally think. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, I need a good, solid relationship with Jesus, even though I fall short, and whatever happens, happens. Because it's just like, people nowadays that I know, they're like, oh, I'm off all this, but you got to think about your phone. Your phone's going to take pictures. Anywhere you go through an airport, they're using facial recognition, all these things. So, don't give up. Like, say, oh, well, they got everything, whatever. I'm just going to be a floater. But I'm just also saying at the same time, like today, it would cost you so much money. Just think about how much money it would take to wipe all of your data
It's
on.
impossible because, matter of fact, we had Bible study yesterday, and we had a special guest who's a police officer, and he was telling us that everything that we do is recorded. Even your car, if your car has a GPS, they can go back as far as they want and track, where you went, everywhere you went, even though you didn't punch,
Yeah.
the address right
Yeah,
there.
they're storing everything.
They can find information that you don't even know they could get. So it's crazy how technology nowadays is like everywhere. And we don't even think about it, but it's everywhere, and it's scary because your phones, your computer, your car. If you wanted to be like out of the target, you would need to drive a 80s cars for the 80s, and get rid of your phone, get rid of your computer, internet, everything. It'd be and when you think about it, it's like
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot, and we're so used to live with all this that we don't even know how to live without it.
A lot of people do.
They do.
A lot of people do not know how to live life without it. Now, how do you feel about sabbaticals and stuff like that? Like, speaking of the off the grid times, like, do you feel like do you know what a sabbatical is?
um yeah, keep going, keep going.
Okay, so, a lot of pastors tend to do, a sabbatical every couple years. No, a sabbatical is like, when Jesus walked into the desert.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and he went, to find himself more or less. So he was, fasting, and those were the times that, in scripture it talks about those were the times. Mistake, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the times that the enemy was like closest to him, and like there were times that he really, um, when he was in the desert, like the times that he was spiritually attacked the most and yeah, tempted, and like that's where he really saw it. But through that, he found out, like, I guess you could say, even though he knew, but like found himself, or like a lot of pastors do it to basically it's kind of like a cleanse of it all, and they just, as far as I know, I don't know exactly what goes down on these sabbaticals, but they'll go, to a cabin, so to speak, up in the mountains, and they'll go do that for a month, and all they do is have food, water, and scripture.
Minimum stuff.
hmm
Yes.
And there's no technology, no nothing, and they just go, and basically they grow. They look themselves in the mirror every day, kind of thing, and they just, they really think about who they are and what they want to accomplish and what they feel like God is speaking to them, that he has a job for them, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
So what's your question?
So when do you think, like, have you ever had that feeling of feeling called to do something like that?
I never felt the call, but I really see the benefits of doing it because I think that just getting rid of all the distraction for a few days, and just focusing on nothing but God, um I mean, it's super easy to see the benefits, right? So you're gonna be closer to God. You're gonna just have conversation with
Yeah.
God, and this is when you have no distraction. It's hard not to focus on what you're doing, right? Because
Yeah.
nowadays, I mean, I'm trying to do a lot of things at the same time, but I'm always altered, always distracted, so. I'm trying to watch a podcast, but then the phone rings, and then something happens, and then an email comes in, or somebody's coming in the room, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, and sometimes like, what is he saying? I'm not even listening. I feel like, what am I?
Well, it's good to know. Good to know you're not listening to me, Steve. No, I was just kidding. I was just kidding.
No, but that's true. It's hard to find like 40 minutes of concentration in what you're doing, and having creating opportunities like that, I think would be nothing but.
So you're a firm believer in quiet time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And nowadays, there's so many. I mean, yeah, I mean, so many noise around us. It's crazy. Even when you don't want them, they're here all the time. So yeah, no, absolutely.
Has your perspective on what being a leader is changed the more that you've grown your relationship closer to God?
Being a leader.
Yeah, has your perspective on what you thought it was? No, just a leader, like a leader in general. Like, has your perspective changed? Like before, it might have been, I don't know, XYZ, and now that you're more involved in the church and more involved in the word. Do you feel like your perspective on a lot of things like leadership or serving, stuff like that, has that changed for you?
Yeah.
Like your perspective on it?
Yes. Well, the big change is that I felt like I was gonna serve, uh, but the truth is, I receive more than I give.
Really?
Yeah. The
For-
more you serve and the more rewards comes to you, unexpected, rewards, if I want to say. Because, um, I mean, honestly, every time I go to Edge, for instance, I feel like the message is like, how did he know? Like, is he talking to me right now? Because this is exactly what I wanted to hear, And then you're talking to the kids, and you can see how they react. You can see the reward in, them changing the way of, their way of life. And there's so many rewards. It's unbelievable, and I think that that's one thing that I was not expecting. To be honest with you, it's when you're a leader in a business, different because you run a business and you need to make sure everybody's happy, your customers, your employees, and everything, and you feel like you're giving more than you receive, and even though you receive, but when you serve, God in general, I would say that yeah, that you receive way more than you give. That's how I feel. And that's something that I was absolutely not ready you know, to acknowledge.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun just diving into Steve's head right now. Like this has been fun. So, um, what has been overall all right, you can't say let go and let God, all right, for this answer, all right? I know you were gonna go with this one when I asked you this question. But in your eyes, honestly, what has been the biggest takeaway in the last year that you've seen? Like, proof is in the pudding kind of thing. Like, what is something tangible that you have seen that has honestly changed your perspective on Jesus?
Um, there's a verse on the Bible on Jeremiah. I think it's 31, something like that. It says, "Consider it um, a blessing when trials comes to you."
Okay.
And that verse really hit me, you know. When I shared with you the wake up call that I had a year ago, and that's the verse that came straight to me. And since then, a lot of things happen in life. In general, you have ups and downs, um, but it kind of changes my perspectives of going through difficult times, instead of trying to find a solution, and fight to find a solution. Just you know, consider consider it like a blessing, you know. And truthfully, you don't need God when everything goes well in your life. You need God when you're going through difficult times. When you're going through trials in general. And I feel like God had shown me that there was a reason for all this. I don't want to go into detail, but you have to go through these steps of your life to build a relationship stronger with the Lord. And it's through the trials that God is showing how loving He is, and how much is in control.
No, I thought what you said was very prophetic. So I thought it was like, I was like, dang, that's good. I was like, dang.
I think the best one is James 1 verses 2. But there's another one on Jeremiah that I want to, I couldn't find it. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of any kind."
All right. So Steve, what was the verse?
James 1 verses 2.
Okay, so there was another. Wait,
There's another one, Jeremiah, but
you can't find it. Okay,
uh,
so the one in James. All right, so the one in James. Read it again for us.
consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kind, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. That's James 1 verses 2 and 3.
And oh, man, yeah. See here, a round of applause. Oh my goodness.
That's not me.
I know it's well, we know who it's the same for me. Like I know it's not me. But you know what I'm saying? Like just thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. And thanks for witnessing the bigger picture of the revival. Thank you for being a part of that and just, putting yourself out there. Cuz I mean, there's probably days that you don't want to go. You're when you're done with work, you're like, bro, I'm too tired for this, Sean. Because that's been my problem lately with the gym. Like since we're getting into the season, I've just been like, nah, I don't want to go. I'll go the next day. So I definitely I admire that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's times where you're not, into it, and you're like, I don't want to go, and it happens actually once. I had to go after work on a Sunday, and I didn't even have time to change, so I went with my work clothes and everything. But it was the best night ever because yeah, I mean, God talked to me like straight in the eyes, and it was just great. And not only that, but all the boys were so happy to come see me and give me a hug and give me a check. So yeah, it's
Give you a check.
yeah, like
Oh, I thought you said, like, they were writing you checks. I was gonna say, "Whoa, I'm in the wrong business, see?" No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's awesome. I'm happy that you are happy and you're showing how happy you are. Because I definitely gotta say, you're,
seeing me in my
you're yeah, it's, less, oh, whoops. Sorry for everyone that heard that. It's a lot less it's more of a God is good, baby. God is good.
yes.
Yeah, even on times that that we've had trials at the business, we just we just bounce. God will solve it. God will be there, like off each other, and it is so nice, Steve. Like by far the most appreciative in any job I've worked, and I've worked a decent amount of jobs, and it's the first one that I've ever had that I can openly talk to you, honestly about anything, and I know you're gonna be truthful,
Mhm.
you're gonna be open, you're gonna be honest, and then also I just appreciate every day how much um we can talk about our relationship with Jesus, and I don't have to worry about A, getting fired, B, retaliation, like, getting put on the schedule on my days off, like that I've requested, kind of thing, because I had that stuff at other places. Like, I'd have mockery, the whole nine yards, everything and anything. Once they found out I was a believer. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having honestly just such a warm work environment, because not a lot of places have that.
You're responsible for a lot of it. You know that. So
Shuck.
because we've been growing, in our faith and in our walk with the Lord together, and it's been great, and not just you and me, but also Mike, also James, the whole
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, the employees. So
And I feel like God has put us together for a reason, and yeah, God knew that we had some great things to build together and to work together. So yeah,
yeah, I mean it's the Lord has definitely softened our hearts with being around baby believers, I guess you could say, or new believers, because there comes a point that I feel like not all churches, but a lot of American churches, kind of have the country club mentality. Don't you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you don't come every Sunday. You haven't been coming here since you were 3.5 years old. Oh, I don't know you. You got to go to the next church over. You can't come to ours. And for a good amount of time, I honestly kind of had that belief until I saw the people that I least just from judging them on outside appearance, the people that I least expected to have a relationship with God that do, and they even have stronger foundations than I did. That was probably like my like humbling experience, and that what really helped me show that a relationship with Jesus isn't so black and white. It's actually like very colorful, very beautiful, because the transformation is honestly the coolest part. It's honestly so cool to see old friends, that we were all doing dumb stuff together, and them, walking in faith now.
yeah.
And it's it is probably one of the most rewarding things to see. And I know I had like some of my friends that had that, that 180 complete shift, and I had nothing to do with it, but just being able to witness them have faith and have a relationship with Jesus, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I love about Church of Viera. I really felt like God has put me here. So that was one of my prayer. When we left France to come live in the United States. Um, I could never find a church, uh, that I would feel comfortable in.
Mhm.
And what you just said is exactly all the church that I've been to. My whole life. Always being judged, always being like, oh, you do this, oh, you didn't come to church this week, why, oh, maybe we'll see you next week, that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to find a church that really makes me feel like I belong here, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I found, in Church at Vera with this group. We have the leaders of the 10th grade youth, are just very connected. We hold each other accountable, and there's never a judgment. I've never felt judged, like not once. But not only that, but the message, the worship, everything, like, it's really, God really wanted me to be here because he knew that this was the church that I would feel, comfortable with. So
Oh, I agree. And for me growing up in the South, it's nice to hear a Southern voice up on the podium. I'm not gonna lie to you, Steve. It probably would be nice for you to hear a French accent, on the stage speaking. You'd probably like be a lot more, kind of invested respectfully. Like it probably would, turn that like one thing on your brain that you're just there more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And, that's, like, one of the things personally that I like. I like that, the good side of Southern culture, because I know, obviously, Southern culture has very different sides. I know that. I'm not saying all of the things that, the South and American history has done is correct or acceptable, even in the name, like, in the name of the Lord, like, in the name of God. Not saying that, but all I am saying, it is nice because I get that little bit of, like, home feeling, so I'm a little more relaxed, you know?
I got.
And I don't know. Pastor Mark usually him and Pastor Jay too is phenomenal. It is honestly super enjoyable. John Mark, I mean, everyone on staff there is just
Brandon.
yeah, I mean, everyone there. It's just you can see that the church bears fruit not by the size but the way they speak.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of churches that you know for sure, and I know that they have thousands of people that come in on a weekend, but it's not the word of God, you know. Or there's some that do. Like, have you watched 2819 at all? 2819 Church. It's good. It's really good. Um, Philip Robert. Either way, that church you got to look them up and look at their clips. Um, that pastor, like, it's crazy how much they've grown. So they started like it's like a little church outside of Atlanta. A couple, maybe the room could hold 200 people, 250 people. They've done so well, and they're not like a live long and prosper church. Like he's in it. Like he is in it, in it, in it. And it's like if you watch him, you see that he bears fruit. And now to the point that people were driving 6 to 8 hours to see this man. And they'd get there at like 6 in the morning on a Sunday to go see him. And the church service doesn't start till like 9:30. And he's another one that's really helping the revival of all nations, honestly, it feels like. Um, and it's kind of weird because I don't see enough outside content around the world, and I kind of wonder if they're having, outside of the North America, I guess you could say, are they having a strong revival as we are?
I feel like there is a strong revival, as far as I can see, from, of course, we live in Florida, but when you watch, I've been watching a lot of videos from Europe as well, and I could see that there's like a revival in the new generation, happening. So I hope it's a global, thing, and it's going the right way. I mean, the enemy is gonna try to, take it down.
Seek, kill, and destroy. Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of other things, going on as well. But overall, I can see like
Oh,
making.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because, since you're a little older than me, a little more wise, how do you conquer the voice in your head that says you're not good enough?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, I try to pray. Um, it happened to me a couple of times, as a youth leader, too, because I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I gonna teach to these guys? I'm not a pastor. I'm not a, scholar. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah, I'm just Steve. I'm nobody.
Oh no, you're somebody. See, don't say that.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Um, and yeah, and the enemy has been trying to get me out of it. And multiple times, like, you have better things to do to go, to Edge tonight. It's you could do this or that, or you can, spend some time with your wife. Which when I do that, obviously, it's a sacrifice. Not spending time with my family. But every time you know, I felt like the enemy was trying to take me away. I had a little prayer, and as soon as you start praying, the enemy just disappears. Um, so it's really a matter of getting this habit of saying, okay, this, of um, putting your finger on it and saying, this is the enemy trying to keep me away from it. But when that's what it is, you just a little prayer. God, I don't want to hear it. You're here. This is why I'm here. I'm doing this for you. I want to live a life that honors you no matter what. And that's the best weapon, I would say, prayer.
That's fire. Dang. Man, you have a lot more why than No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding, Steve. Well, thank you for taking up your time today. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
I'm glad we could have you on, and man, it's crazy. It's crazy how much he is working. And it's honestly it's so cool cuz I'm just so excited to see where this year, like at the end of the year, when December rolls around, like I'm excited to see what has happened this year cuz I feel like there's still a lot to come. A lot to come.
I'm excited.
You're excited? I'm excited too. Well, you guys know what to do already. If you guys are new, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Welcome into the Rest Up podcast. Thank you for being a part of the community. And we love you. You're accepted. If you can get plugged in with the church. You don't have to be clean to get into the shower. You get into the shower to get cleaned. And yeah, find a group, find a small group, find a community, a lot of people are calling them tribes now. That's like a really popular term. Find that tribe, man, and see what God can do for you in your life. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you guys next week. This has been the Rest Up Podcast. See you guys later. Peace.